All right, if you remember correctly from the last time we met, we did our workbook pages, and we talked about estimation, and we talked about factors. So, if you remember, do you guys remember going through and circling the factors and finding the ones that overlap? What did that mean when the factors overlapped? What does that mean when two numbers share factors? What do we call those? What do we call those? Ella? Common factors. So to review, what we're going to do is we're going to practice. If you remember, last time we were together, we found the common factors of 8 and 12. Do you guys remember that? Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to do two different sets of numbers now. I'm going to ask you to find the common factors of 20 and 16. Okay, so go ahead and split your board in the middle. Find me all the factors that make products of 20. And find me all the factors that make products of 16. If they're the same, you're not going to separate. Good. That's a better way to set that up. Good, I like that people are starting with the easy ones first. If you remember, there's a certain number that's always a factor of every number. Good. When you finish writing out the multiplication sentences that equal those products, go ahead and list them in order from least to greatest. All right, go ahead and cap your markers. Let's follow along with me up here for a moment. All right. Easiest and most obvious choice for 20 first. What should we always put first? Braden?
20 times 1.
20 times 1. We know to get 20, 1 times 20 will always, always, always yield us that answer. What's the next most obvious? What do we know about 20? What type of number is it? Emily? 10 times 10 times 2, because we know 2 will work because 20 is what type of number, Joe?
It's a multiple.
Yes, it is a multiple of 2, but what else? What does it end in? It's a
0.
So it's an even number. Good job, Joe. So we know 2's will work in the even numbers. So we know to get 20, we can do 2 times 10. Are there any other ways to get to 20? Sophia? 4 times 5. Okay? That will also equal 20. Are there any other ways to find 20? What other factors will make a product of 20? Anything? No. Good. So the next one is 16. We need to know what factors will make products of 16. Easy one is what, Jeremiah?
1 times 16.
1 times 16. Always go for the easy ones first. 16, just like 20, is also what? Starts with an E. Even. So Brayden, what should the next one be? 2 times 8, because we know 2 will always work on our even numbers. Okay? Any other combos of how to make 16? Any other factors? Mimi? 4 times 4. Very good. That will also equal 16. Very good. So now, let's figure out what factors they both have. So we're going to write out in order from least to greatest the factors of 20. I should start with 1. What comes next? Tell me.
2,
2,
3, 4,
4,
5,
5,
10,
10,
20.
and 20. Okay? How do we check our work? Who can tell me how I can check my work up here? Erica? By making the rainbow lines. Okay? 20 and 1 go together. 2 and 10 go together. And 4 and 5 go together. Good. Now let's list out our factors of 16. In order, I start with 1. What's next? 2, 4, 8, 16. Okay? How can I check my work? MJ? Rainbow lines. 1 and 16 go together. 8 and 2 go together. But what do we do with 4 if we know 4 is a double? What trick did I tell you? Sebastian? Put a star over it so we know 4 is special. He's a double. Okay? Now, the last part is to find the GCF. Who remembers from yesterday, or 2 days ago, what does the GCF stand for? Brayden? Greatest common factor. So let's see which ones they have in common. Circle them on your board. They have 1 in common. What else do they have in common? Joe? They have 2 in common. They have 4 in common. Anything else that they share? No. So what is the greatest common factor between 20 and 16? Erica? 4. GCF is 4. Very good. I'm going to have you do one more on your board. I'm glad you like this.
Me too.
That means it's easy if you like it. All right, find me the greatest common factors of 8 and 16. Alright, so we should have found in here that 8 can be created by 8 and 1. The product of 8 can be achieved by 4 and 2. And that's it. 8's a pretty low number. It doesn't have a ton of factors. Alright, 16 is 1 and 16. 16 can also be 8 and 2. and 16 can also be 4 and 4. That one I let you do before, because that way it'd be quicker for you to search. What I wanted you to see, what the goal I wanted you to see of was that when you search for common factors of two numbers, that one of those numbers can kind of serve two purposes. Let's continue on and see if anyone can pick up what I'm talking about. Let's list 1, 2, 4, 8, right? What I list over here, talk with me. 1,
2, 4, 8, 16.
Those sounded pretty similar, didn't they? Well, here's why. Because what do they share? They share the 1s. What else do they share? They share the 2s.
4,
They share the 4s.
and 8.
And they share the 8s. So guess what? The greatest common factor of 8 and 16 is what? Jeremiah? 8. 8 is the greatest common factor with 16 of itself. So that tells you 8 and 16 are going to have a lot in common, because that is the greatest common factor of itself in this purpose. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's how numbers intertwine with each other. That's how numbers work together. Okay? Go ahead and erase your board. All right. Now what I want you to do is I want you to find me the greatest common factors of two numbers of your choosing. Okay, just choose. Yeah, don't use the examples I used already. Choose two different numbers of your own. When we were together, we talked about factors. Okay, two factors make a what? Everyone? A product. Okay? So when we were searching for the different common factors, do you guys remember that? I gave you the prompt and I said pick any two numbers of your own and find the factors. And some of you, I know Caleb was one of them, Lily changed her answer, Clayton changed his answer. Some of you got stuck. You found these numbers that didn't have very many factors. In fact, how many factors did they have? What was the common theme we were finding, Ben?
It can only be multiplied. You can only get it by 1 in it.
You can only get it by 1 in itself. So what was one of those examples? What was one of those numbers that we talked about on Friday?
2.
2. Okay, let's think of all the ways we can multiply to get 2. Sam? 2 times 1. What else? Caleb?
We could also get +1.
Nope, we have to multiply because that's what factors are.
We could
It has to be whole numbers. He's out of choices. 1 times 2. That's the same factors, but it's switched, but they're the same factors. So we have found 1, we found 2. What else? Henry? Is there anything else? No. That's the point. When you run into a number that only has 1 in itself, do you remember what we called those numbers? Who remembers what I called those numbers on Friday? Aaron?
prime numbers.
Prime numbers, very good.